is the Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast.
How good is that?
Welcome, everyone, to a very special episode of EduKate. If I don't sound like Kate Ritchie, that's because I'm not. Jess here with you. I've got Lizzie as well. We do have Kate with us.
I am here, present.
Excellent. We'll mark you off the roll. No, we just wanted to do a quick little special EduKate, actually requested by someone online. Off the back, Kate, yesterday, of course, we had the wonderful Kate Winslet on the show. And there was such a special moment that happened sort of just after we finished the formal interview, where you shared a few little tears with her and a really, really nice hug. Your daughter May was here as well.
Yeah.
She kind of came into it as well. And we just wanted to unpack it a little bit because we saw the wonderful video on socials. But we know that leading up to it, Kate Winslet is a hero of yours, you would say. What was it like knowing that we were going to get her on the show?
Well, I was really nervous. It's so funny we're doing this because I have to say, since we have had Kate in the studio, I think it's taken everybody a little bit of time to almost do a little debrief in their head about it, because you know what it's like in the studio. It can be a bit manic and we have guests in and out, and no disrespect to any of the other guests we have, but Kate Winslet was pretty exciting. And I don't think it was until the day that we all quite realised that, wow, she's going to be in here with us.
Physically in here.
She did a lot of press, but I know we were the only show of this kind of variety that she'd come in to speak
that's right.
with.
And our interview was the best.
Yeah, only FM show. And I know that this is sort of a little look behind the curtain, but she had come from 2GB, so think Ben Fordham and those sort of AM shows around the country. And when she came up here, she was sort of rushed in because they were on a very tight time frame. I think when she came through the door, she might have been a little bit overwhelmed because we were all so excited to see her. And I can only imagine the energy level on Fitzy Whipper and Kate Ritchie is just a touch higher than maybe Ben Fordham and the rest of the guys down there.
She said, when she came in, she said, I already can tell that, you guys are going to be really good.
Yeah.
She was like,
not a bad Kate.
Yeah, well, not bad.
But
Not
she was
quite
like,
as
you
posh as
remind
she
me
is.
of, she said, you remind me of
Chris Evans, was it? In the UK, who I've not heard, but is a more fun, relaxed
I googled
DJ?
him and he looks fun. He's got like
He's a fun
quirky glasses.
he's red-haired ginger guy who used to be. Have I got the right guy? Oh,
Yeah,
you're staring at me. He used to be married to Billy Piper.
Do you know I get told I look like her all the time?
Oh, you know what? I can see the similarity, but
Me
you're
too.
about
Honey to the bee.
Yeah, you honey to the bee. You for me or something like that.
I don't know who she is, but
Oh, she's in she was in Doctor Who for a long time, and she was in
Anything we might have watched?
fantastic show recently, which involved the investigation around Prince Andrew.
Oh, that was a great
where she played the journo.
okay.
I'm trying to think who else was in it.
Yeah,
but
she was phenomenal.
I get told it's the eyebrows and the dark eyebrows and the blonde hair,
yeah.
or whatever. Anyway,
It's absolutely a compliment, and I think it was a compliment when it came from Kate.
Yes.
I know we've been
let's go back
talking
to
about
that. Sorry.
the experience that maybe I had personally, because the amount of people that we've had such a good reaction to
we have.
the videos and the photos
so
and
lovely.
the interview itself. If you haven't heard it, please check it out on the podcast. But it wasn't just me. I think that when she came here in the studio, and I'm sure we've got the footage floating around, everyone. So Tommy here, you're here, Lizzie. Jess, and
I think
of course
I was the
boys.
calmest person, do you think?
I think you were.
you're good under pressure.
People are organised for a guest like that.
Yeah.
But there was a really nervous energy. Everyone wanted to try and do something to help. In fact, she was chewing gum.
Yeah.
And
yes.
Whipper offered. She went to spit it out, of course, because she was about to speak with us, and Whipper offered to take it and put it in the bin, a bit like he will do with my tea bag sometimes. And I think
He put his hand
I
out.
think Kate thought maybe he was going to steal her DNA or something, and so she put.
Tom picked up the bin as well to do it. She was like, calm down, everyone.
Yeah,
Can
she
I
really
get you the
was.
bin and all? I mean, I was just, I was just looking.
But how does it feel? Because, I know we started this podcast talking about Taylor Swift, right?
Yes.
If we got to meet Taylor
Can't.
get to tell her the things
the
we've
thought.
always wanted to say.
Yeah.
Like, how did that feel to say what you've always wanted to say to someone that is such a hero to you, like Kate Winslet? Like, how did you feel in the moment, the days after, which is obviously just today?
Yeah.
How do you feel?
look, I don't really like the word hero, but I do think that she's such an incredible role model. And I think that, firstly, I didn't want to muck it up. I know that when we have big stars like that, we have very minimal time, and we of course have to cover the film because she has a beautiful new film, Lee, and of course we want to know about that. But okay, once we've done the film, what is it like? What do other people what do other people want to know? Do I just want to know, or because you are speaking on behalf of the listeners? You know, it has to be interesting to everyone. It's not a one-on-one. And she's just done so many great things and so many great films. I think before she walked in here, we were running through a list of all the wonderful works that she's done, let alone all the stuff that has nothing to do with filmmaking that she does. That is wonderful. So I felt I was just nervous. I was nervous, and let's see, I can't even really get my words out now because I just didn't want to muck it up.
Well, you didn't.
I think as well, you were that topic, and I know that question in particular about body image and the way that it's talked about in the media was so important for you to ask. So I think, obviously that was you wanted to get it right because it was an important question.
Yeah, and
for you to ask her.
And I think too, I didn't want to. I know I had a few tears, but I didn't want it to be clouded by being a blubbering mess. I just feel I think what it proves, and I think someone even said on my socials last night, when you have a physical reaction so quickly about something that you just happen to begin talking about, it means that it's really close to the surface. And I think that topic, not only for me, is really close to the surface for a lot of us. And I think what I wanted to say to her was hopefully what a lot of other people would have said given the opportunity, and what people have since said after having listened to our podcast and seen the videos is, oh my goodness, thank you so much for saying that, because that's exactly what I would have said. Because I do think that Kate, and I think she knows it, I think she's really quite proud of the ground that she has made around talking about body image and the way we speak, in particular to girls. I mean, I know I don't have a son, so I can only, and I'm not a man, so I can only relate it to my version of events. I'm a mother and a girl that grew up on the telly, and a young woman, and I felt judged, and I now have a 10-year-old daughter, and there's all of these things. So I'm just coming at it from that point of view. But I think Kate does know the work she's done. And I actually listened to another podcast yesterday because I've fallen into a Kate Winslet rabbit hole. And she was talking about failures that she may have had. And one of those was that she feels a little bad around, or that she's failed in that she didn't start the conversation earlier, and that for a long time she didn't quite know how to stand up to the judgment and call out bad behaviour and call out judgment, unnecessary judgment on what was for her. She was a teen girl in the public eye, and then a young woman, and now an older woman, I guess, older than she was. She's not. Now I'm getting real.
Lucky she's already been in.
No, I don't want to offend if you're listening, Kate. So she feels as though she wished she'd had that conversation earlier, but she wasn't. She didn't have the tools back then. I think we're all continuing to learn, and I think that the greatest thing about her is that, and which I'm so glad I had the opportunity to say, is that what she says is what I think we all feel, but we don't have the platform to say it. And sometimes it's really nice for someone else that people are listening to open that door for us to be just that little bit more brave, because it really isn't okay the way that we are spoken to or judged.
Well,
you're about boundaries.
You're that person for a lot of people too, as we've seen online, like so many people from that video. You're that person for so many people too, that you bring a voice to all that stuff for so many women. Like, how beautiful that you both, the two Kates, could bring that moment to light for so many people when so many people look up to both of you. I feel emotional about it. It was so beautiful.
Oh, thank you for saying that.
And she was when we were off air, and the cameras aren't, rolling or whatever, how beautiful that she spent that time with you and May like she did too. Like, she's just so genuine.
Oh, having Kate Winslet here, like actually just here in this arm, and my 10-year-old daughter here, having just had that conversation we had, I think like it's quite possibly a career highlight for me, and not only a career highlight but a personal highlight. And I think what she proves, and what is so not like, keep them coming. All of the messages have been so wonderful, because we do tell silly jokes and we do stupid things and we talk about rubbish, but how nice to feel as though sometimes we do things that really make a difference. And I hope that our chat kind of continues. Like it sits with you, because you're not on your own if you're feeling all of these things. And like, listen, keep listening to Kate. And I don't mean me.
Love it. Yeah, well, make sure if you did miss the chat at all, make sure you check out the podcast.
Thanks, guys. So nice to revisit.
Fits in Whipper with Kate Ritchie is a Nova podcast. For more great shows like this, download the Nova Player via the App Store or Google Play.
The Nova Player.